Alright, hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesdays. And this week, I'm gonna be talking about headphones. Now, I know I started talking about microphones last week, and I promise you guys I'm gonna get back to the microphones. But I think for now, I'm gonna be talking about some of the different pairs of headphones that I own as an audio engineer and why I have chosen these particular pairs. Now, I believe it's super important to have monitoring that you can trust to base all your decisions on in terms of tuning sound systems and listening in to the fidelity of what is being recorded or broadcast. And I tend to find myself in different environments. So sometimes I'm working in production sound, so I'd be on a film set or outdoors recording sounds. Sometimes I find myself in a broadcasting studio doing something for TV or stuff like that. Or I can even find myself in a music recording studio tracking vocals, recording instruments. So, my monitoring needs, while the need is there to monitor at a high fidelity and, have something that can basically stand up to your environment. The goal is always the same: to have the best audio quality, audio fidelity in monitoring as possible. And depending on where I am, I might not always have a high fidelity pair of monitors with me, or that may not even be practical. So, hence why I have different pairs of headphones. Now, the one that you're looking at here is the Sennheiser HD26 Pro. Now, I'm not sure about you, but unless you work in broadcasting or maybe production sound, you've probably never heard of these. And I can say I had never heard about these before I actually saw them being used on a film set. And I can tell you, I'm so glad that I was introduced to these because some of you might be familiar with the Sennheiser HD25s. I'll put a picture here on the screen. They're very popular DJ headphones. Are also popular in the field recording world as well, and in location sound just in general. This is a redefined design of the HD25s, and I'll tell you why I went for these over the HD25s. Now, first of all, hard to do this with one hand, but you see this little split headband here at the top. If you just slightly open the headphones, you can see that they kind of automatically just open and close. With the HD25s, you'd have to manually split the band, and while that might not seem like a big deal, part of the reason why I love these headphones is because they're so flexible. So if I'm out in the field and I am doing a one-man sound bag job, and I have to slide these headphones on while I have on, the location sound bag, and it's just a lot of stuff going on. I need some headphones that are flexible, dexterous, and won't get destroyed if I'm trying to kind of do that whole one-hand maneuver, putting it over my head and all of that. When I'm out in the field and I'm working on a film set, for example, which is where I realized the shortcomings of my previous headphones. These are pretty light. Like, they're very lightweight in comparison to something like the HD280 Pros. And this ear cup swivels up at like a 90-degree angle. So whether it is that I can rest this on like my neck and just like swivel this part up, or if the headphones are on my head and I need to quickly listen into what somebody's telling me while not having to take off the headphones entirely, then I like the ability to just be comfortable. It's important to have amazing sound fidelity, which these offer, but the comfort factor in me not having to constantly take off and on headphones is really important. This allows me to be able to run around, do what I need to do, and still, at the end of the day, have a pair of headphones that won't break. This material right here is kind of like a hard plastic. It might seem flimsy, but it's pretty durable and it's flexible. So I think these are gonna last me a pretty long time. They're my most recent headphone purchase. As I said, I saw them on a film set, and when I tried them out in comparison to what I was using, you know, in terms of the sound quality and the, you know, whole lightweightness and all of that, I decided, yeah, this is what I need for when I'm doing like field recordings, and I found it even to work pretty well in loud live sound environments as well. Now it's an on-ear design, so what that means is that it's not gonna. This is basically pressing down against my ears, right? And I have a pretty interesting ear shape, so not all headphones are quite comfortable, but the padding on these headphones is it's very nice. It's very comfortable. The only downside is that if you have them on for a pretty long time, your ears are gonna get sweaty. And in this Jamaican heat, it's more than likely that my ears would have been sweaty anyways, but it's quite comfortable. I honestly barely even feel the headphones unless I'm wearing them for an extended period of time. So we're talking about build quality here. Now look at how this cable is kind of screwed into the body of the headphone. I love the fact that you can replace the cable if it ever goes bad, and it's screwed in pretty tight there, so you know if you tug on it, it won't fly right out. This little detail right here, this little coil, it basically works as like stress relief on the rest of the coil of the headphones. The headphone coil also has this little clip right here that you can use to clip it onto your clothes. You know, so if you're moving about and so on, you kind of don't want this cable to get in the way. And I can tell you, it's been quite a nuisance seeing cables get in my way. Sounds like it's gonna rain soon. But yeah, so this comes in handy quite a lot. I kind of just added this Velcro strap just for when I'm you know wrapping this up at the end of the day. You can see that it comes with a 1/4-inch screw-on adapter by default. So if I screw this off, you can see the eighth inch adapter at the end. I really like the little Sennheiser insignia right here, and it's good to have this on hand, because if I'm using like a field recorder like this Zoom H5 for example, which I literally just have here, just to show how easy it is to just, you know, connect it to this and then screw this back on if I need to use it with like my audio interface or something else that has a, oh, it's gonna be hard to screw back on. Yeah, my audio interface that has something like a 1/4-inch adapter for my headphones. By default, this doesn't come with much in the box, much besides the headphones themselves, and maybe a quick guide, a manual to let you know a little bit about the product itself. One of the major things also that sold me on this product was the fact that it has a built-in limiter, that the limiter itself works with active electronics in the headphones, and there's a switch here. Let's see if the camera will focus or if I can get enough light on this. Yeah, there's a little switch right there that you can use to turn on or off the limiter. I think mine is on right now. You're not going to be able to see it because of the shadows. But yeah, the fact that you can turn on the limiter in the headphones themselves, and I don't have to limit my recordings, is phenomenal. Because what might happen is, say I'm on set, right? And these are the headphones that I have plugged into my in-ear to my wireless receiver, right? So I can listen to the production sound mixer. I can monitor what's going on set wirelessly. That's a situation in which I'm not in control of the volume of what can happen, you know. Granted, you do have, unlike the Sennheiser G4s, you do have a little volume dial that you can turn up and down for the overall volume. But say for example, and this has happened to me a couple of times, maybe somebody might accidentally hit the PFL button or the solo button on time code, and then now you're blasted with time code in your ears, for example. That's not a pleasant experience. And then being able to have a built-in limiter in the headphones themselves will protect my hearing, which is super important because as an audio engineer, the ears are the air is the gear. The number one gear is the ears. So being able to protect my ears out in the field is something that comes in pretty handy. It also helps, just in cases where anything might flare up like that accidentally, whether it be feedback or sometimes I might be recording a very quiet source out in the field. Not necessarily with this H5, but like with another recorder that has a lower noise floor. I might be recording something super, super quiet, and then say, for example, a truck drives past. So the dynamic range between the quiet sound that I'm recording and the truck driving past is super wide, right? So I'd have turned up the fader level to hear the quiet sound that I'm recording. But most times I can't reach quickly enough to turn down the headphones if something super loud drives past. So being able to have the limiter in the headphones without actually limiting the recording itself allows me to continue to record a high dynamic range signal and monitor efficiently. So I've been giving basically a glowing review of these headphones, right? And as with everything, there are things that I like and there's things that I don't like about these headphones. Now the frequency response of these headphones, it is very, very muted in the high end. So everything above about 10K or so on is pretty low. I can see if I can find the frequency response chart and put it on the screen. But you're not really listening to these for the high end, right? It has a big bump in the low end. I think it feels like it's about 6 dB at around 80 hertz. So these headphones, they knock, right? If you're listening to music, they're pretty bass heavy and pretty light on the high end. So sometimes it might make it harder to hear certain things like sibilance. If you're really hearing sibilance on these headphones, then if you play that same audio track anywhere else, it's going to be super, super sibilant because these don't really emphasize what's going on in the high end. You can really hear much of the mid-range with these headphones, and I think that this the frequency response of these headphones is tailored in a manner in which, like, if you're in a very loud environment and you need to hear what's going on, I feel like it kind of evens out like the natural frequency response of your ear at different amplitudes. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, just check out the Fletcher-Munson curve, and that will, that will show you how our sensitivity to frequency changes with with amplitude, with how loud things are. So the way how this frequency response is tailored, I feel like at certain volumes gives you the information that you need to hear to be able to set gain, position lavs, that kind of thing. But if I were to use this just solely for music mixing, then my mixes would be quite bass light and very heavy on the treble, which is a no-go. The reason why I have kind of had these finding a home in live sound for me is because having tuned the PA correctly, I find that I get very great isolation with these headphones, which is another point that I didn't talk about before. Isolation. The passive noise isolation with these headphones is incredible. So that's why I find myself using it more and more in live sound rather than just in production sound, because I do have a pair of headphones that I enjoy using that I'm gonna talk about in another Tech Tuesday video. But yeah, I think that has covered most of what I wanted to talk about with these headphones. Shout out to Dylan for introducing these to me. And yeah, this video isn't sponsored by Sennheiser. I only talk about stuff that I have used, stuff that I've either owned or rented or anything in between. So I'm not paid to do these videos, but I found it really hard, like super hard, to find somebody talking about these headphones before making that purchase decision. And I think for $300, this is gonna last me a pretty long time. I've had $100 headphones for almost 10 years now, so I think these are gonna go a long way in helping me to monitor things accurately in the field. All right. Oh, and before I go, I bought this generic headphone case from, I think it was Geekria. I'm gonna link it in the description, just so that I can have a soft pouch to store these headphones in, because again, Sennheiser were pretty economic with the packaging of the HD26s. So it doesn't necessarily come with much in the box. So yeah, so I think that has been my impressions. I've had these for about 3 months now, and I've very much enjoyed using them over the previous options that I've had before in the field. So yeah, hope this helps. I know many of us are always on the quest for great sounding headphones and things that we need as audio professionals. Now, this is not something I would recommend to a consumer to purchase. For $300, there are better options for fidelity or just listening to music and that kind of thing. But for field recording and location sound and anything where you're maybe broadcast, all of that, I think these perform quite well. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these videos, please let me know in the comments. Please let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's anything else that you'd like to see me talk about in terms of audio engineering. Doesn't necessarily just have to be tech, but yeah, I make these videos to help all of you as best as I can to get to know more about the field of audio engineering. And yeah, that's it. So thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.